How's it going, guys? I'm here to review Doctor Sleep 2019.
When I was a kid, there was a place. A dark place. They closed it down and let it rot.
So, Doctor Sleep is an actual sequel to The Shining that came out in the early 80s, directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Jack Nicholson. But this movie stars Ewan McGregor, who played Obi-Wan in the Star Wars prequels, and he was in other countless movies, of course. So this film's directed by Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan did countless movies and TV series. He did Hush, he did Gerald's Game, he did Ouija, Origin of Evil, he did The Haunting of Hill House, you name it. The film begins with a cult of, I wouldn't say immortals, but it's a cult of people that likes to, they have the ability to drain people's, like, people who has powers, pretty much. They like to drain their souls, their energy, so that way they can stay young, not forever, but for a long time. They don't have a specific name for themselves, but that's what they do. They like to just locate and just kidnap and or just like find or churn. They can churn like kind of like they're vampires in a way. They can churn anyone into their own bidding. But they're just trying to look for people who has like psychic powers or telepathy powers, anyone that are special, so that way they can drain the essence out of them. So that way, like I said, they can stay young for quite a while.
The world is a hungry place. A dangerous place.
These people, they hurt people like us.
So when they find a little girl, that's when the little girl decides that she needs to find a friend and needs help to defeat this group. And of course, she asks Danny for help. And Danny Torrance is, like I said, he was the little kid, or he was the son of Jack Torrance in the original Shining. But now he's all grown up. He's an adult. His powers is kind of like a little, like, not as strong as before. So it's a little tough for him. Of course, after that, he became a drug addict. Like, he was addicted to like using drugs, pretty much. He was a drug addict. So it took several years for him to sober up, while the kid grew up in the same time. So they both kind of grew up. So this took like 8 years later, pretty much, after the whole introduction. Still experiencing his trauma, like all the stuff he dealt with in the original Shining movies. The spirits of the Overlook Hotel is still showing their presence in front of him, and of course he locks their spirits away inside of his mind, so that way he doesn't have to remember or see them again. And he does it all except for his one friend from the original Shining, of course.
You're running away from something?
I'm running away from myself, I guess.
So that's the little girl's name, I just realized. Her name's Abra, and Abra, like I said, she needs Jack's help to defeat this group because she's getting hunted down by this group. And this group, they know that she has extraordinary powers, like more powerful than any other they ever encountered. So Jack and Abra team up to fight against this group, and of course, that's all I can say. The ending, though, it does bring back some nostalgia. I'm not gonna tell you how or why. Just watch the movie for yourself, watch the ending, and you'll see. But this movie is pretty long. The theatrical or the original version is 2.5 hours long. But if you watch the director's cut, it's pretty much 3 hours. So what did I think about this movie? This movie is actually well done. I like it. It's really good. Honestly, this is one of Mike Flanagan's best work, because I recently checked out The Haunting of Bly Manor. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce the word, but his newest haunting TV series on Netflix. I wasn't a big fan of that because that show was more of a love story than an actual ghost story. But when I watched Doctor Sleep, even though it came out a year before that, I was just like, okay, Doctor Sleep is one of his better works that he's done, and this is probably like one of the best modern horror movies like ever, in my opinion. I mean, it's a little much, but this movie actually has some good character development. It has some structure. It builds up like great specific like chilling, disturbing moments. This movie is just really good. It's a pretty good sequel. It's a pretty good it's different. It's not what you expect. If you're expecting like a straight up like Shining like rehash or copy, you're not gonna get it here, because this is a totally different sequel, but it's still in the same realm of The Shining, if that makes sense.
And they've noticed that little girl.
Well, hi there.
Yeah, this movie's good. I mean, there's really nothing bad I can say about this movie. I mean, of course, it's not as creepy or chilling or suspenseful as The Shining. The Shining is honestly one of the best horror films ever made. Like, no joke. The Shining it's up there. It's one of the, like, it's up there next to, like, The Exorcist. Like, it's one of the best horror movies of all time. And one of the best Stanley Kubrick films of all time. And he's made a lot of good movies. He made Clockwork Orange, Full Metal Jacket, just like 2001, A Space Odyssey, you name it. Stanley Kubrick is like one of the most legendary filmmakers of all time. So of course The Shining is going to be up there. So not this, like, yeah, this, like, ugh, I can't even talk right. Yeah, this movie right here, it's not going to beat The Shining, but it's still a worthy sequel. So, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I would rate this movie an 8 out of 10. It was a well done movie. I watched in theaters with my friends like a year ago, pretty much when this movie came out. It was a fun experience. My friend, he never, like, I'm not going to mention any names, but he never seen any horror films, or at least he barely did in his life. And this is like one of his first ones. And honestly, he wasn't expecting a movie like this. That's all I can say. He was kind of shook. He was shocked. He was terrified. He was just like, bro, what did I watch, man? But I mean, that's not exactly what he said, but I'm just going off the record here. Anyways, that was my quick review of Dr. Sleep, a very good sequel. I highly recommend this movie if you guys haven't seen it. Please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Where are we going?
There's a place. You sure you want to do this?
I'm ready. Yes, you run, dear. And then I will find you, and you will scream for years.
Come play with us forever and ever.